So I just was reading in my book yesterday morning, and I really liked, there was two, I was kind of reading 2 days in my Take Your Soul to Work book. This one is on connection. And it says, all life is interrelated. We're all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied to a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. We're made to live together because of the interrelated structure of reality. We are all connected, even if we don't see it, into a single garment of destiny. Martin Luther King Jr. understood that not everyone sees the deep connection shared by all of humanity, and he paid the price for this understanding with his life. Instead, people are trapped in the brutal force of hate and its attractions. Here's what King said as he continued his Christmas sermon on December 24th, 1967. I've seen too much hate to want to hate myself. And every time I see it, I say to myself, hate is too great a burden to bear. Somehow we must be able to stand up before our most bitter opponents and say, we shall match your capacity to inflict suffering by our capacity to endure suffering. We will meet your physical force with our soul force. Do to us what you will, and we will still love you. How many of us in our own leadership could say, we will still love you to those who oppose us, diminish us, or use us? Some things happened while we were gone, and there's some reports that came to us. I want you all to understand that not only are we interconnected here because we're all coming together for a common purpose, we're interconnected as human beings in this reality of this world. And you may think that your action of speaking negatively, I'm trying to be very, very kind about what I'm saying because I don't want to be. But you may think that speaking negatively or finding out information about someone that you know, whether it's at work or out in your friend group or wherever it is, you may think you're just having a conversation. But what affects one person directly affects us all indirectly. Okay? So make sure that the words that are coming out of your mouth honor not only you as a human, but other people as humans. Because we all have struggles, we all go through ups, downs, we all have things about our lives that are ours. And if you find out something about someone, it's not your story to tell. Don't tell it. Let that person tell their own story, if they wish to. Because we all have things that we don't want to share with other people, unless they're in our intimate circle. So let's be careful about the words that we speak and the things that we do, because they do have an effect on everyone around us. We all know, and I've talked about environment enough, we've talked about mindset enough, right? If your mind is on seeking negative things, you're always going to find negative things. But if your mind is on the positive, you're going to see positive things. I mean, that's just the way the brain works. So, especially when it comes to the things that we say out loud and the discussions that we have with our office friends, with our personal friends, with our family, like just have a little bit of care about what you do, knowing that you think you're only having a discussion with one person, but you never know when what you say is going to be overheard and how it's going to affect other people. We've had plenty of that here, and so we know how that affects us. So let's just be aware. And so the other thing I wanted to read is called On Collaboration. It says, individuals maximize chances of survival when they reach out to others. Charles Darwin wrote, "It is a long history of mankind and animal kind too, that those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed." The biblical book of Ecclesiastes praises the utilitarian mindset. Two are better than one, in that they have greater benefit from their work. For should they fall, one can lift up the other. But woe to him who is alone and falls with no companion to lift him. And when two lie together, they are warm. And how can he who is alone get warm? Also, if one attacks, two alone can stand up to him. Collaboration is efficient and a great way to keep a bed warm. Thomas Stallkamp, founder of Collaborative Magazine, said, "The secret is to gang up on a problem rather than gang up on each other." Isaac Newton had a different take. If I had seen further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. This was a humble way to approach new thinking and innovation. Those who precede us are giants and we are small, but on the shoulders of giants, we see further than giants alone. When we rest on the shoulders of giants, we can see just a little bit further, and that kind of vertical collaboration can make all the difference. So remember that two are better than one, and how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. How much stronger are we if we're all focused, if we're all collaborating, if we're all saying, "Hey, I'll hold you up today because tomorrow I may need you to hold me up." Okay? So remember, let's lift each other up. Let's speak kindly to each other, about each other if we have conversations. Okay? Because remember, you don't want your closets opened up. That's not a good route. We all know that we all have closets, we all have skeletons, we all have failures, we all have moments where we are not at our brightest. I definitely had one of those on the mountain this last weekend. I was not a bright star. So just be kind and remember that collaboration is what's going to get us there, just like Eric was saying today. Like, we are going to need to work with our service department. We're going to need to communicate to our customers effectively about the condition of our cars. And, hey, sorry, we care so much about you that we're not going to let you take this car until we check it out, because we want you to be fully satisfied when you leave. That takes collaboration. That takes communication. So let's all work toward effective, kind, loving communication. Sometimes that's more difficult than others, but so just hold each other up. We all need each other to be successful. And like Eric said too, like, we're starting to see some of those fruits of our labor. We're starting to get some traction. Like, it's been, I don't know if y'all know who Sisyphus is, but he was, in mythology, he was punished or cursed, I don't know, for some reason. But he had to push a rock up a hill, and every time he got to the top, the rock would roll down, right? It didn't matter what he did. So he's just eternally pushing the rock up the hill. And that's what our journey has felt like sometimes to get us here. But we have a really good group right now, and I feel like you guys actually like each other and enjoy working together, and it makes all the difference in the world. So let's keep that going. We're starting to see progress. We're starting to see people bloom, which is super exciting for us. And now the next step is to get that service department cracking. And so, but we can do it if we collaborate. We can do it if we're kind to each other, and we're understanding, and we show grace, and we hold someone up when they need to be held up, or pick them up when they need to be picked up, because someday that's going to be you that needs to be picked up, and you're going to want that grace, and you're going to want that help. So that's all I've got this morning.